Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to this RFL Pre-season Testing. And so the RFL League finally brings you to F1 2021. We had a few pre-season testing races on F1 2020, and now this is the next generation of the game, ramping it up, ready to start the first season. So here we are at the Bahrain International Circuit. We first raced here in real life back in 2004, and the debut race was won by Michael Schumacher. And since then we've had 16 other races using the international circuit, if you exclude the outer circuit that we've used last year. Six different race winners here, as I mentioned, or 7 different race winners actually. Schumacher, Button and Rosberg have all won here, and then Felipe Massa won here a couple of times, Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel had 4 wins, and of course the reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton has won here for 5 times, including the last 3 seasons. So traditionally the pre-season testing has always taken place in Spain, and then last year they changed it to Bahrain. So the RFL is following suit and starting the pre-season testing here in Bahrain. So the RFL runs with realistic performance cars. Some assists are allowed, some assists are banned, all to keep it very realistic, but to also keep it even and fair for everyone out on track. Speaking of which, we've got 11 drivers who've joined us here this evening for this first pre-season testing race. We've just gone to 48 minutes. We've had 12 minutes of action so far, and we can see that Elder Royale has set the fastest time on a 1:29.038. That was set on the medium tyre. Blues 245 set a 1:29. There we go, 1:29.3 on that soft tyre. Who's put in 3 laps, is currently going out again as well. Nicolas Latifi 1:29.624 is his fastest time on that hard tyre. Ruti Guti 1:29.689 on a hard tyre as well. Joe 1:30.666 on the medium tyre, and everyone else below running the hard tyre. Rugby Danny with a 1:30.974, Steinzab with a 1:30.988. Pokemon Par, well, I haven't seen him yet, but has he spun yet? We shall see. Last season, obviously, in the previous game on the pre-season testings, he did have quite a few spins. But hopefully he can not bring that form with him this time. We've also got Forza Juve with a 1:36.161, and that's a very nice camera angle. Look at that. Kaitsu's a 1:37.614, and Honzi has yet to leave the pit box to start any form of practice. So with 14 minutes just gone, 46 minutes remaining, it'll be interesting to see what kind of strategies everyone's going to be running in this practice session. A lot of people already opting for that hard tyre, wanting to test some setups out, adjust the setups without wasting the faster compounds, but also seeing what the durability is like on the hard tyre. So as we're riding on board here with Forza Juve, whoa! A bit too much power there on the exit of turn 3, or exit of turn 2 into 3. Managed to safely turn it around there, of course. Running those medium tyres at the moment. Who else we've got outside? Kaitsu just coming down to the last corner of the track. Turn and across the start-finish line to start a flying lap on the hard tyres. So he's already done 7 laps on these tyres. Realistically, you're looking for them to do quite a long stint on these, with the times of 1:37.035 in the Ferrari. I'd be hastened to guess that he's running high fuel at the moment. Someone goes off behind him. Who was that spinning around, did we see? Blues in the beautiful green Aston Martin, having a little spin around there just for fun. So yeah, Kaitsu currently the man alongside Steins up to set the most amount of laps as he exits the hairpin there. Now the exit of the hairpin at turn 10 is one of the awkward corners on this track. If you just get the power on too quickly, you can kick the back out, or if you're going into turn 10, if you don't manage your braking, you then tend to lock up and either go deep and almost into the wall, or off onto the lightly coloured, sandy-looking runoff area. So he comes down to the final corner of turn 14 and 15. See if he can improve on his time at the moment. So as expected, his fuel is now burning off and managed to get in a 1:34.620. Stands up again there, the only other driver running a long stint at the moment. As Blues comes into the pits in his Aston. We've got the Alpine of Elder Royale out on track. Currently done 3 laps on these tyres. He's on the medium tyre, sorry, now. Done 1 lap on those. Be interesting to see how he performs in Alpine. Obviously the former Renault team, rebranded for 2021 into the Alpine colour scheme and brand that's part of Renault. So Elder Royale is the #1 driver and the only driver here today in the Alpine. The only team that we've got, or the only 2 teams we've got both drive, or 3 teams, there we go, 3 teams with both drivers out. Both Haas, no, because Titus didn't turn up. Both Alfa Romeos. It's a great combination there for Stein and Honesy. Obviously both very strong in other leagues that we race in. Be interesting to see how they get on in the realistic performance Alfa Romeo. Honesy driving on using a controller, and I'm not sure about Steins, whether he's on controller or if he's using a wheel of some description. And then we've got no McLarens here today, so we were expecting Exotic and Jose in the McLarens, but unfortunately they haven't made it this evening. So 1 Ferrari of Kaitsu and Forces in the pits. Honesy's still in the pits. Probably having something to eat, I'd imagine. Quite a hungry guy. Fueling himself up to put some decent long laps in. Got Rooty Gooty and the hat of Perker there, just slipstreaming down that back straight to the final corner, turn 14, at turn 15, heading on to the start-finish line. Be interesting to see what he does, whether he's going to stick with him or if he's going to try and go for an overtake move to get past. Probably testing the waters, see how much power he can get out of the Aston. Now, as it's realistic, I wouldn't imagine it would take him long to get past the Haas. Obviously, as everyone who watches Formula 1 in real life would know, their Haas, driven by Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher, it's not the fastest car on the track by far. The fact that Williams are scoring more points, are finishing and qualifying higher than them in every race says something, really, doesn't it? Okay. Oh, Blues 245 had another spin. So this is something that a lot of drivers have said with the new F1 2021 game. It is quite easy to spin the car. So the setups this year, you tend to find that you're running more front wing than you are rear wing, and of course that's giving drivers a bit of instability on those rear wheels, and where you're normally out of a corner, even with traction control off, you can put the power down quite quickly. And oh, whoa, whoa. Now that is very interesting to see from Blues 245, whether he's just putting on a show there on the exit of the corner as he puts it back on track. But yeah, as I was saying, you know, a lot more front wing, lower rear wings this year, so it gives you that instability, which also means that you put your rear suspension lower than your front suspension, and again, as soon as you put that power down, the car's so springy, it's kicking the back of the car out very easily. So you've got to start being quite gentle on the acceleration, whether you're on a pedal or you're using the controller. Yet to kind of find out, there's not many league races really for F1 2021. So it's a bit interesting to find out what track limits are like this year. As we know, on F1 2020, track limits were a bit of a beast. On some tracks, you know, the main thing to do is always run strict, really. Not a massive fan of it, but at least keeps everyone consistent. As El Royale goes a bit wide coming out of turn 4 and backs out of the lap to let Kaitsu past. Oh, and they are swapping places again. Lots of to and fro in here. Kaitsu looks like he's now just given up and trying to put his foot down and get out of the way of the Alpine of El Royale. Also on track, we've got the Williams of Joe Enesu. We'll just call it Joe Enesu. PAFR obviously, PAFR appearing in the comments on the YouTube. See there, Haas is greater. Greater than what? Greater than Williams from last year? Rugby Danny looks like he's struggling a bit on the exit of 10 there with the traction in that Red Bull. So this is another aspect as well. Obviously we're going realistic performance cars in the league, and we're quite lucky in the fact that it's a brand new game. So driver skill level will be interesting to watch, because what might have been a fast driver on F1 2020 in the league and has possibly been placed in a lower car on the grid could potentially struggle this year, and those who might have been midfielders or back of the grid in respective leagues last season could potentially be higher up. So let's take a ride on board with Rugby Danny as he rounds turn 1, heading up through 2, 3, DRS open for the run up to turn 4. As he comes round, just staying off the curb there, getting as much power as you can, ride the curb on the left, stay off the right, try to use as much of the track as possible, braking as early as you can, try not to lock up. Not sure if he's got ABS switched on. As he comes down to 9 and then 10. Oh, a little bit of a lock up there as we hear quite a bit of onto the curb. And we come down now on this left-hander going into turn 11. You want to use as much curb as you can on the right-hand side to get the widest angle possible, so you can get straight back on the power. 4th gear corner, up into 12, 6th, 7th, stick in 7th gear for turn 13. Use the inside curb, drift it out wide, and then back on the power, 5th gear, 6th gear, and run it all the way up to 8th gear for the final turn 14 and turn 15. Now that inside curb this year is a lot more violent than it was in previous versions of the game. And he crosses the line there. Beautiful lap. Running those hard tyres. Fastest lap time at the moment is 1:32.90. He's done 10 laps on the tyres, so getting a good old stint out of them. As we see a lot of drivers at the top of the grid now have fitted the soft tyres, medium tyres. Blue's running the medium tyres, but he's had a few spins, bless him. Steins is also out on the soft tyre. Looks like he's just backed out of his lap. Let some traffic get past, get a bit of clear air. I imagine he's been in the pits making some changes to his setups. He did comment in another Discord channel that he's going to be trying about 56,000 different setups this evening. I don't blame him. I did that myself the other night on time trial. Literally did half a lap, change the setup, did half a lap, change the setup, just to try and get used to it. Watch him come down to turn 1. So running this soft tyre, he may as well be running a lower fuel load. Obviously in this year's game there are no different engine modes, so you can either run it in standard or you can run it in lean. When it comes to a race though, that will affect your performance if you're overusing the fuel, and then from what I've heard is if you switch it down to lean, you are then stuck in lean. Kaitsu getting out of the way there, Order Royale. Ooh. Luckily he ghosted out there, or Steins would have been tasting the back of the Williams. Big lock up there into turn 10, but straight back on the power. Using all of that curb. You saw the left wheels of the car got right over the white line there, didn't invalidate, which is interesting to keep in mind. Turn 13, turn 12 is a bit of an nemesis for a lot of people. If you get that inside curb, if you get a wheel on that inside curb, it can quite often flick the car out. As he comes to the line, his fastest was a 28.4, and he improves by about 2.5 tenths there to do a 1:28.157. Perka currently sitting in the pit lane. Order Royale now running the soft tyre. He's done 3 laps on them already, so he's whoa, big tank slapper out of turn 1 there. Managed to keep it almost in a straight line. I do love the purring sound of these 2021 cars. I know they haven't changed much, but just the effects as he drifts around turn 4. Let's see how he fares through 5, 6 and 7, heading down the hill. I see. Oh! As he gets that back wheel onto the curb, it just decides to flick the car around. As much as, you know, it does that in real life, to be honest, which is quite worrying sometimes. And now obviously his tyres are probably a bit cooked, as he's doing some celebratory donuts around to turn 4 there. The Ferrari of Kaitsu there, having a bit of a spinning session. So at the moment, the only person I haven't seen spin was last year's spin specialist, Perka. He's in the pits at the moment. I kind of wanted to come out and do a couple of laps without spinning, just so the other guys out here who are, oh, Kaitsu's still going round and around. I spin around less on a merry-go-round than he's just done right there. Having a lot of fun, I'd imagine, on those medium tyres, which will now be more cooked than Sunday afternoon barbecue. Oof. We'll come back to you in a minute. Keep jinxing you, bless you. Quite a few cars in the pits now. Rooty Gooty's out on lap, running those fresh soft tyres. As it comes round 11, oh! I might have to stop watching people as they're doing these fast laps. Lots of loss of traction there going around turn 11 into 12. See if we can find anyone else actually out on track. Here he is, our spin master. Please don't let us down. We're right on board with you for a lap. As he warms up his tyres on his first out lap. So here we go. I'm expecting big things. He's got his ERS turned down, saving that, so he's obviously conserving it, ready for this fast lap on the soft tyres, I'm hoping. Let's just absorb the beautiful sounds as he heads down to turn 1. DRS wide open, braking at the 100-metre boards, trying not to lock up, just tapping that inside curb gently on the power, straight across the curb on the left. Nicely done. Powering down 7th, 8th gear, DRS wide open into turn 4, using all of the curb, swings it round, drifts wide, but allows him to get on the power quicker. Oh, but invalidates his lap as he rides the curb like Tony Hawk. And here we go, we have Holmesy out on track. We're going to ride on board as he comes through 5, 6 and 7, the downhill squirrely section. And there we go. Those right hand wheels just tap the curb, as it looks like Kaitsu behind him has done the same thing as well. Now I'd just like to point out for those of you watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching on catch up, this is part of the CCR network, which consists of a number of different leagues: the Nemesis Racing League, Switchback Formula Racing, and FRL Pro-Am Racing, along with RFL, as you're watching right now. So the 4 leagues make up. A lot of drivers cross over between the leagues, but it allows us to have one great community where we can share the live feeds with you and clips from races as well. So if you like what you're watching, not just the spinning around, but do give us a subscribe, hit the like button, and hit that little bell so you get notification every time one of the leagues goes live with a race. All races do happen on a Friday evening, Saturday evening, and then Sunday morning for our Australian leagues for Pro-Am, and then Sunday evening for SFR. I think Holmesy forgot where the pit entrance was, or he's drunk. Fosavu has gone back into the pits. Through to Guti's out on lap at the moment, on track at the moment on an out lap. As is Bluetooth 45, running line astern, 1 Aston, 1 Williams. And then there's the other one running behind the Haas of Perka, who didn't let me down with his spin. He's obviously invalidated this lap as well, riding that curb like it's a Hawaiian wave. Comes round, big gravel trap there. You don't want to be getting into that if you're drifting wide. What you do find is if you drift too wide there and you stay on the runoff area without hitting the gravel, you can still put some decent power down to safely rejoin the track. Here we go, Perko believes he's in need for speed at the moment, drifting down the straight. As we see, Joe has invalidated his lap there as well. As Holmesy has just politely has just mentioned the Formula E sounds coming through on here. Yeah, not quite sure why that's happening. We have just go in and check the settings. Everything's fine. There's no magic button that says Formula E. Everything is on. There we go. So there's a trick for you. Anyone that's going to be streaming any races, you have to go in the settings and turn the engine sounds on. As this is only pre-season testing, we'll use that from the commentary box as well as a bit of pre-season testing for our equipment at this end. That and the fact that I think I've been up for about 36 hours now. So yeah, we're doing great. As Ruta Guti's out on his lap at the moment, not sure how much fuel he's running, but he's using up a lot of that ERS, whether that was in his previous lap. See how else we got out on track at the moment. El Royale running soft tyres as well, just about to start a lap, but invalidates his out lap there, as we just saw. Rides that curve on the left, avoid the one on the right as much as possible, but don't drift too far wide from it. Full power down the straights, DRS wide open to 205, 206 miles an hour before he hits the brake just after the 100-metre board turn in to turn 1. Gently on the power, upshift to third gear, fourth gear as you go over turn 2 and turn 3. And then the short DRS straight down to turn 4, braking just before the 50-metre board. Nice tight line through there. Again, gently on the power, upshift quickly into fourth and fifth gear. Rev the gears up as you go down to fifth gear for turns 5, 6, and then 7 into turn 8. Heavy on the brakes, try not to lock up, but hold that tight line. Nicely done. Straight up the gears, third and fourth, all the way up to 7th gear as you come down to turns 9 and 10. Braking nice and early. Drifting the car around there, sadly, spins it a bit more than he'd have liked to. Apparently Stein's in the Alfa Romeo there, has still got the Formula E sounds, doesn't want the engine sounds. We'll save those for Holmesy. He's probably... Nope, he's still got the Formula E sounds as well. So as long as you're in an Alpine, your car sounds great. If you're in anything else, it sounds a bit backwards. Like the cars of the future that nobody wants to hear. So Van Rocco was going to join me this evening as my fellow commentator here. However, he switched his PlayStation on and didn't remember that there was an update earlier this week. It's currently installing. 11 minutes ago it was at 35% installed. Now it's just hitting 85%. It's old and slow, just like... I was going to say him, but that's cruel. Just by like both Mercedes drivers in SFR last season. Oh, we have engine sounds for the Red Bull. As Rugby Danny still running those hard tyres. He's been in the garage doing a max for Verstappen and getting it tweaked as much as possible. We've now done 20 laps on that, as we've just dropped to just over 19 minutes to go in this practice session. So what we might find is drivers will now start to stick on another fresh set of mediums or softs and start doing quali practice runs on those. Some Formula E sounds in the Mercedes there. Normally all you hear from the Mercedes is a light tap on the front wheel somewhere, and then you see some dust in the distance. Red Bull doesn't have wings apparently. Just ask Max Verstappen at Silverstone. Joking, he got out safely and that's the most important thing. Still a racing incident though, but I'm British, I can be biased. So Perco's back out on track, just starting his lap on a fresh set of soft tyres. He's got the ERS worked up to do a hot lap run, flying down the straights. Will he lock up turn 1? Slight lock up and deep into turn 1 there, as he rides that curb on the left, and again a bit too much curb on the right hand side, and I think that's going to catch a lot of drivers out if they're not careful. I'm not sure which Aston Martin that was there that ghosted out for someone. Just had a message from the wonderful Van Rocco, who's a very skilled and talented driver, and I should never say a bad word about him. He's probably at about 86%, and we'll just drop him a quick invite now just to get him in here eventually. Still not entirely sure what's going on with the sound, so apologies for that for everyone watching. What have we got down here? It's definitely set to broadcast engine sounds on. I'm just going to switch it off and then we'll go back and change it to on to see if that makes any changes. No, still some dodgy engine sounds there. 15 minutes remaining. Ruti Guti's coming out on a set of medium tyres for another, and he's on his out lap. Looks like the Red Bull of Rugby Danny there, flying past on those hard tyres, still going strong on those hard tyres, Rugby Danny. So is that to lull us all into a full sense of the performance of Rugby Danny himself and the Red Bull? Just doing a long run on the hard tyres, not showing off their pace too much. We've also got Nicholas Latifi out on track at the moment. Joe in the Williams. That's all at the moment, and Steins has just come in across the start-finish line, starting out for a hot lap. Yeah, he's got that ERS switch right up, I'd imagine. Right, as he comes round turn 1. Up the DRS straight, using as much road off-track part as possible. Clips the curb a little bit, causes him to drift wide, keeps it just over the white line, which keeps him valid as he goes through 5. Bit of curb there, bit too much curb, possibly has to downshift as he comes down to 7. Tiny bit of brake lock up there, but managed it accordingly. Straight up into 4th gear for the power on, down into turn 7, up to 170 mile an hour. Brakes locking up there, getting that back, sliding round, 3rd gear around the corner, straight up 4th, 5th, 6th gear, DRS straight open as he comes down to 11, get off that curb. That's the one. On the power as quickly as you can, around 12, and then sweep into 13. Don't touch that inside curb of 13, otherwise, or of 12, sorry, otherwise you'll be spinning. And there we go, off wide, keeps it valid though. As I mentioned earlier, slight glitch in the system there. So he flies down to the final corners, gets over that left-hand side as much as possible, clips the curb, straight on the power, 4th, 5th, 6th gear, 7th gear, DRS wide open, crosses the line at 190 miles an hour. And sets a 127.8, which brings him up to currently P5 on those soft tyres. So obviously, depending on what everyone else is strategy-wise, we can't really necessarily compare it to many people.
Hello there.
Well, good evening, Mr. Van Rocco, and welcome.
Thank you very much. Sorry for being late.
This is acceptable. I mean, we're dealing with PlayStation here and Cody's, so yeah, it has to be acceptable, doesn't it?
And EA now, throw EA into the mix.
That's the one, yeah, I forgot about that. Throw EA into the mix, and basically you're going to spend half your night just loading and updating.
Yeah, exactly. So who have we got? Ruti Hullet showing some good pace in the Aston. He was showing good pace last season as well, wasn't he, Ruti? So watch out for him.
I think he's a strong driver. You know, he's a couple of twitches here and there, just like most of the guys out on track. But actually, to hit a 126.7, and I believe if we have a look, that is his. That was set on a soft tyre, but then he's still a second, 1.1 seconds quicker than anyone else on the soft tyre. So yeah, like you said, he was strong last season. So let's see if he can bring it back this season.
Yeah, Nicholas Latifi.
I think it's Nicholas Latifi that doesn't like milk.
Yeah, lactose intolerant. Man after my own heart. He's done what? A medium tyre run. Best lap was on a medium, and he's only had 2nd off. So it's not. He's probably showing some good pace as well.
Yeah,
I'm used to these colours now.
He's in the Mercedes.
Yeah, Blues 245 in Aston.
That's right.
Stein or Ella Dariallo
is in the Alpine.
That's an Alpine. That's a Red Bull. They're all the same colour, aren't they? There's literally like 3 different shades of each team.
The Alpine is the light blue, whereas last year Williams was the light blue.
Yeah. What's Williams this year? Is there any Williams?
It's the dark blue. Yeah. Joe down in P8 currently is in the Williams.
Oh, that's the Williams, the dark blue.
Yeah, so it's the shade. It's the shade in between. It's the shade in between. Rugby Danny's in the Red Bull, and Royale is in the Alpine, and then the shade in the middle. I mean, that's not going to be confusing for people at all.
No, not at all. But Rugby Danny they're using this as a proper. Oh, very wide there. Proper testing session.
Yeah,
lap 23 on these hards. He's been out there driving around.
He's just come out for a little Friday evening drive.
He has. I mean, he was up on this lap. I'm not sure if this lap is still valid.
It looked valid. Yeah.
He went faster, so he's got 10. He's got 100th after.
It's not much considering he's gone from an old hard tyre to a medium.
Oh, he's on the medium now.
He's changed to the medium tyre, yeah.
So that hasn't actually done the lap.
But I don't think he's doing... Let's just have a look at the old race director. Have a look, see if it was a valid lap.
I've got the Formula E sounds as well.
It's great. Yeah, so his medium tyre run was valid. I'd imagine he's probably running high fuel then, because he's still had plenty of... he's got 100% ERS. So he wasn't pushing on that lap at all. Who else have we got out on track? Got Holmes, who's now on a set of soft tyres.
Very wide on the exit from Stein, turn 10. I think he uses, there's a glitch in the track limits where you can run wide and join the track. I've read somewhere if you join the track at a certain point after a certain amount of time, it doesn't invalidate your lap.
Yeah, so we saw, and I believe it was Stein who I saw do it coming out of here, out of turn 13. He goes off wide and then rejoined the track, and it stayed valid there as well.
Yeah, it's still valid there, yeah.
I think he's massively backed off though.
You're doing some glitching testing.
Or he's forgotten how to turn.
Maybe. He's got no wing, I don't think.
Damage should be switched off, so...
Oh,
was that Holmesy? Teammates, gotta love that. Having a bit of fun out there.
Stamping his authority on his fellow teammate.
I am the '1 driver. You could sense it as he came round that corner.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Nicholas lactose intolerant goes a 25.992 on the soft, so full 8/10 quicker than the fastest Aston Martin driver.
He is in the Mercedes though, so that's potentially to be expected.
That looks like it was beans on toast.
Love a bit of beans on toast, me. So with the removal of the rich engine mix this year,
Spinala, pronto, Seb. Yeah.
How are we going to address this? Because beans on toast was always rich mix hot lap.
It was very true. Maybe just beans on toast now is just hot lap engine battery.
Yeah. So if you're running hot lap and we talk about beans on toast, you know what it means.
Yeah. I understand why they're taking it away, but it is a bit of a shame. But it makes things a little bit simpler. Yeah,
it makes it a bit simpler, but teams now, they choose an engine mode going into the weekend and they have to stick with it. So if they had rich mix in there and you chose to use that, you'd have to adjust your race strategy because you'd be stuck in that rich engine mode for the whole race.
Rugby's gone 2/10 faster, I think.
He has. He was previous time as a 1:29.9.
He's not using any baked beans though, so he's obviously already got high fuel in there as well. So he's just having a nice leisurely drive again.
As you do.
Also, Huve. He hasn't done many laps, has he?
I think he might have left the lobby at some point.
Okay.
Hence why he's still in the pits. He was out on track, did a couple of laps, and then left the lobby. I don't know. Potential issues, maybe.
Oh, who was spinning there? Someone? No, just the game glitching on me.
Yeah, Kaitsu's got an invalid lap. Blue's just starting a lap in his Formula E car.
Stein's got the softs on. Let's see what Stein's got. He's on an out lap at the minute, and so is
Holmesy. So Holmesy's got one lap old, so he's not changed his tyres. So he might be looking to do a lap. If he messes up, can drop in, get a fresh set on.
Yeah.
But we'll ride on board with these guys. I believe Holmesy's pitting, yeah. So he's going to go and change those tyres.
He is, and Stein.
He's just coming around that back straight. He's keeping his tyres in a nice temperature zone, I'd imagine.
He's a good tyre manager, Stein.
Yeah.
Blues backwards there. Blues 245 backwards after turn 8.
Blues 245's had a few spins this evening. I don't know if you heard me talking about it. Well, basically every time I went onto someone, they were spinning. Seconds after I got onto them and started talking, they'd spin.
You got Katsu Curry coming up to turn 10 now, I believe. No, it's not. Wrong part of the track.
He's coming up to turn 8.
No, he's
coming down.
It's all desert.
Turn 9 and 10, but with his invalid lap. Let's have a look at Stein as he starts his hot lap on these soft tyres. So flying down to turn 1, brake just after the 100-metre board. Try not to lock up. Clip that inside curb, Stein. Fourth gear, straight on the power, cut that corner. Keep the left tyre on the track, otherwise you'll invalidate. As he comes up to turn 4, DRS wide open again. That drag reduction system slings it into turn 4, gets a nice line, keeps that traction, riding that curve all the way up to turn 5. Try to tap the curb on the outside here. A little bit too wide, unfortunately. It goes invalid.
Very nice. Blues currently 20 seconds off his fastest lap, but he's boxing now. Katsu Curry.
He's boxing backwards. Did you see? You missed that.
No,
as Blues went into the pits, he spun. And he's just reversed backwards down the track to get into the pits on some very hot tyres. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, you're right. Okay, Katsu Curry's in the pit lane. Stein is going to be charging. He's in charging mode. Driver number 2. Is he the number 2 driver at Alpha? He's the number 1 driver at the minute. But Holmesy is on an outlap. He's got 3 minutes left on the timer before we go 000.
He's got a fresh set of red rubber.
So we've obviously Cody's are going to check they're going to do an update soon with the car performance. And this could play a huge part in this league, depending on when they do it. Because at the minute, I believe Haas are very overpowered in the realistic performance stats.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Haas in P8.
But I mean, Perker is a pretty fast driver anyway.
When he's going in a straight line.
Yeah.
No offense, buddy. No offense.
He's just started a hot lap now. But he is a fast driver in his own right. But I believe the Haas is top midfield car on this year's game so far. So they are going to nerf Haas come the big update, which they do normally about a month or 2 after the release, don't they?
Yeah, as soon as they've got a bit of feedback from everyone on all the different platforms. As Holmesy makes a bit of a spin there.
As I literally clicked on him, he was hitting the apex, and then he didn't hit any further apex afterwards. He's currently donutting.
Do not do that.
How's
That's
your Krispy Kreme?
Icy hot.
So his tyres are going to be absolutely boiling. Who else? We've got lactose intolerant coming round. Where is he?
He's just about to cross the line. Sets a 125.9.
It's not too much, half a tenth, but half a tenth is half a tenth.
Yeah.
And he opens up the gap to P2, who is Rooty Hullet. On a lap, he's 7/10 down on his fastest, so at the minute he's not going to improve. However, he might have lost some time at the tricky turn 9 and 10 complex, which is this one.
He's running very low fuel, Rooty. You can see on the graphic, on the telemetry graphic, his fuel light's on. So whether he's running bare minimum or because he's already done 2 laps on this tyre, we shall see. As he goes sideways.
Again, I'm the commentator that's cursed today. Every time I click on someone, It's moments before disaster. Katsu is starting a lap. It's telling me he's 6.66 seconds faster in Sector 1 at the minute. No, it's now...
No, it was 0.036.
Yeah. It's corrected itself. So he's a little bit down, but again, he might have found some time. Yellow flags going off everywhere at the minute. Here's Honesy.
So we've hit 000.
And Honesy's invalid, unfortunately. So that is his qualifying... His practice session over. Rugby, currently P10 in the Red Bull, is, he is teammates with Nice, the most dominant driver in SFR last season, world champion. He has got that second Red Bull seat. Is it going to be cursed for him this year? Oh, as moments before disaster, Katsu absolutely flung it into the wall on the exit of somewhere. 12. Yes, it was 12. Absolutely hit the wall with some speed. So, rugby's on the
As Honesy's spinning around again. Oh dear, boys. Dear boy.
He's now retired from the sesh.
Retire from the league for that performance.
Is his career over?
Absolutely not. You know he'll come back flying.
He's said he's been struggling this year, so you never know. You never know.
Yeah, it's very true.
This era of 2019 and 2020 dominance could be over. It could be a backmarker. You never know.
So the final car to cross the line will be Ruti. It's the last driver not to cross the line.
I don't think he's got any fuel.
No, he's stuck at 130 mile an hour.
So who's impressed you?
Ooh, to be honest, so Perker's impressed me because he not only did he keep in a straight line, but his laps were pretty consistent.
Ruti. Just slammed it into
yeah, I just seen that as well. Rugby Daney's done those long stints, so I didn't really get to see much of his one lap or short stint performance. As we'll just wait for this to change. Yeah, Nicholas Latifi in a Mercedes. So I mean, obviously he's impressed, but he is in that dominant Mercedes. But Ruti Guti and Blues in the Aston Martin up there, you know, smashing out those laps. There's a second between them, but that gives you an idea of who's running the fastest engine settings, who's got the better setup there. So for me, probably Aston Martins are my number one, with Ruti Guti and Blues.
Yeah, I'd go with that too.
So that concludes our practice session here with RFL pre-season testing here in Bahrain. We will keep you updated in the Discord with the dates and times of any further pre-season testing, and then the first race of the season. So I'm not sure, have you got the calendar there? They're running the standard calendar for the league this year. I'm just going to end the broadcast there because it's pushed us through to the race and I'm in a car apparently.
Oh yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, let's just do it. Just for fun, let's just... we've got a few people who would like to race.
I think we need about the same numbers that we had last time.
Yeah.
Really, I don't really want to do it with only 3 or 4 people. I'm currently commentating on this race, so I'm going to leave as well. So yeah, I mean that was a pretty good session. I only joined for the last 10 minutes or so, but you know, you see definitely a few things to fix Codemasters wise if they want to make the broadcasts pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially by the time they'll probably fix it by the time the esports thing comes back around.
That's the thing. As soon as the esports starts up properly, we know that they'll start fixing everything. So yeah, I'm going to switch off the broadcast for now, so you don't all have to sit here staring at my screen. And if anyone wants to separate in, check out the Discord. Van Rocco has just put a poll out for those.
But it's been deleted, so...
It's been deleted because apparently no.
So yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me, Van Rocco.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you all soon. Bye bye now.